Here's how I've been increasing my clients' rankings and getting them more customers and leads by saving Google money. So what does this mean? How do you save Google money? Well, you've got to remember that Google has billions and billions of sites that they crawl, that they index, and this costs a lot of money because they need a lot of computer. And guess what? Those computers draw a lot of power. They've got a lot of money that they spend every month crawling different websites. There's a significant number of them. I mean, it's essentially unimaginable. And what I've done is basically put together a document which teaches you how to save your crawl budget. And it comes straight from Google's own documentation. So this right here, Google helps you in determining how do you actually figure out if certain pages should not be crawled and how do you actually fix these things, as well as I've added in my own experience and things that work and things that aren't even mentioned in the Google documentation. That's really helped me out. So first of all, duplicate content. If you've got very similar pages, let's just say you've got a category page on best forklift watt, that's 300 watts, right? That's like one category page. And then you've got best forklift batteries that are 400 watts. Do you need to consolidate those pages because they might be cannibalizing each other? If they are cannibalizing each other, and the way you can check it is literally just type in the keyword into Google and see what the top results look like. Are they including 300 and 400 watt batteries on the same page? If they've got separate pages that are ranking, then guess what? You probably don't need to consolidate those. So you need to check that first. And if they are cannibalizing, just put them together, and that way Google's not crawling multiple pages that it doesn't need to. Next up is the trailing slash. This is something that absolutely everybody misses. Even some really big websites that have thousands and millions of pages that I've worked on have completely missed this. And what this means is, if we look at the top right here, and I'll try and zoom in, there's no trailing slash at the end. Now, if I do type in trailing slash and hit enter, guess what? This is a different version of that page. Now, it's not considered duplicate content because there is a canonical in place, and the canonical basically tells you this is a primary version of a URL. So this is not cannibalizing, it's not duplicate content, but it should redirect to the primary version. So let's just say their primary version is the non-trailing slash version. All the trailing slash versions on the page, so it should redirect to the non-trailing slash version of the page. And that's another way to save Google from crawling unnecessary pages. Next up is do all the protocol versions redirect to the correct version. So by protocol, I mean things like the HTTPS. So HTTPS, www. There's so many different versions, and they can create so many different versions of your website. So do they all redirect? So let's just take this domain right here. Let's just test it out, and you can use this tool. I'll leave a link in the comments below to it, and it's basically just going to check the different versions. So it's giving us a 100 score. So yes, they all redirect to the correct versions, but if they're not, then guess what? That's something you need to fix. Next up is fix broken pages. So Google's already said in the documentation, 404 status code is a strong signal not to crawl that URL again, because again, it's a waste of their crawl budget. So if you've got a really important page that you want indexed but it comes up as a 404, guess what? Get on that ASAP and give it a fix. So as you can see, Google's mentioned it right here in the documentation. So if you don't know, you can just use a tool called Screaming Frog, run a crawl on there, and there's basically a section where it says 404 errors, and you can see all the broken pages on your site. Next is block the unnecessary pages in the robots file. So when Google comes to your page, it'll check your robots file, and basically the robots file will say, yep, you can crawl this page, or no, go away, don't crawl this page. And if one of the things you need to do is block internal search results. So for example, let's just search here, I don't know, let's search for Bob. I always use Bob as an example. And if you look at the top here, it says /search, right? And what you're going to do is go into the robots file. So you can use the ECSO extension, scroll down, hit on robots.txt, and let's just see if it says disallow and then says search. So I'm going to press Command F and put it in there. So it says disallow /search. So it's blocking the internal search results from being crawled, and that's one thing that Google really appreciates. Next up is make pages load faster. Now, Google has mentioned if Google can load and render your page faster we might be able to read more content from your site. So here's one of the things you can do is reduce the over reliance on JavaScript. So Google crawls your website in two stages, first the HTML file, and then it comes back later for the JavaScript file. And all you're going to do is make sure all your content is able to be viewed without the JavaScript. And I'm talking about basically the content itself, so like the text, the images, things like support, let's say a chat feature in JavaScript, that's fine, don't need to worry about it. But let's just say your images, your filters and stuff like that, stuff that are really critical, make sure Google can see it without the JavaScript. So all you're going to do is use the ECSO extension, click on the JavaScript tab, and then basically you're going to disable the JavaScript. And I've given you a few checks that you can use here. By the way, this is my own tool that I built, and you can use it for free. It doesn't cost you a penny. And then check the hidden headings. So you have different headings, right? H1, H2, H3, H4, H5. So some of the things that happen is there are heading tags, but there's no text in there. So Google's crawling through these tags, but there's no point because there's nothing inside these tags. So you can literally just go on. So we've got it right here. So click on headings, and if there's any subheadings that occur, let's just say there's H6 here, but there's no text. Let's just imagine there was no text in there. Well, it shouldn't be there in the first place. So you're going to get rid of any hidden headings. Next up are chain redirects. So Google has said avoid long chain redirects, which have a long effect on crawling. So here's what it means. So let's just say you got URL A here, but that page no longer exists. So you're when redirecting the user and the bot to URL B, but URL B no longer exists. So you'll finally redirect them to URL C. So URL A is not working, so it redirects to URL B, and that's not working, so it redirects to URL C. But what should happen is URL A should skip B and redirect straight to C. So these are called chain redirects. And if you don't know how to check them, you can literally use you can use a Screaming Frog. You can run a crawl and there'll be a section that says chain redirects takes like 2 minutes, 5 minutes to check, right? You can look at a tutorial, it takes 5 minutes to check one of those tutorials out, and you can easily fix this, right? Because it's literally just a link that you need to fix essentially. Now, if you're struggling with your SEO, you need some clarity, you need some direction, but you don't know where to go, I'd recommend checking out this page. I'd recommend checking out this video here. It's only 2 minutes long, and this page is basically about booking a one-on-one consultation with myself. And what will happen is, first of all, you get a pre-questionnaire, and then I'll do an in-depth analysis of your website, and then we'll set up a date on when our call will be, and I'll basically guide you step by step on what you need to do with your website in order to increase its rankings, get more leads, get more customers, whether you're e-commerce, whether you're SaaS, B2B, B2C, local, doesn't matter. I'll help you get that clarity. And if you check out my homepage, you can learn a bit more about me and what I do and the different sites I've worked on. So enterprise size businesses, multi-billion pound businesses, I've handled their SEO. I've worked with multiple award-winning marketing agencies, and I'm not going to bore you with the entire spiel, but you can just read this website, my own website. And if it's for you, great. If not, you can just keep watching my videos. They'll be posted for free, and I'll see you in the next one.